Were you attracted to the topic, the author? Was it an assignment? How did you choose this orientation, this particular topic? Well, you tell me, fill in your name, please, and your CWID. So how did you choose this?
Because of nowadays,
Yeah.
this issue is really like controversy, like people like gay marriage and human rights. So I'm thinking about his period would be really hard for him to be himself and be creative. And I think now it's really hard for like people who just want to have the same right, but look at that like 100 years ago. So I'm really interested in this, so I wrote about it.
Yeah, it's good to look at today's problems ago. So what would you like us to accomplish? What do you want me, how can I help you?
I want you to see that all of my contents, all main ideas linked together. I actually have two writers in here. One is that wrote about Oscar Wilde, his sexual orientations, and one was his friend actually wrote about him and in his period of time. And one of the recent writer, she wrote about him by reading his fictions and also reading his documentaries.
Okay.
Yeah, that's 2 period of time that I compare and contrast both writers on his sexual orientations.
So, and you're interested more in coherence. Where's your works cited page? Do I miss it?
Oh, I didn't have it. I didn't
Okay.
print it out. Yeah, I actually
Okay.
have
Why would you bother putting a works cited page? Why do you think that's important?
I think it's because of where I get my information from, and also it would be strong enough for you to like, hey, you didn't came up with this by yourself. You have your information from someone.
It's a basic moral honesty. I didn't get, somebody else had these ideas, and this is where I got them from.
Yeah.
Okay. So, coherence. One way to judge coherence is by the topic sentence, and indeed the top of the topic sentence, that introduction. And so, in the first sentence here of your intro, I assume you divided it into an intro, a body, and a conclusion?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. And the intro and the conclusion are shorter than the body. That's why we have the fingers in this.
Yeah.
Okay. And you have a top and a bottom, a topic sentence and a concluding sentence to every little thought.
Yeah.
Okay. And you use linking, coherent making words within the essay. Okay, so you start with, if Oscar Wilde only knew that over 100 years after his death, people are still writing about his biography and accomplishments, he probably would have written a book about his life and shown the audience how he admired himself. I'm not sure he didn't do that. Okay. That's a cultural trait. Do you know the nationality of Oscar Wilde?
English.
You might want to check that. Okay, so he starts, if Oscar Wilde, then you say Frank Harris, you introduce Frank Harris, and then your next topic sentence begins with, unlike Frank Harris. Very good, because it links. Do you know what coherence means?
How is like both paragraphs linked together?
How it what? Huh?
How both paragraphs are linked?
Yeah, it's like adhesive tape.
Yeah.
It coheres, and the whole thing comes off, and you say, oh, that's how long it is. That's what it's about. Or more beautiful would be a tapestry. And you have the golden thread, and you pull it through, and you knot it every once in a while. And you say, yes, that's the thesis. Now, this 5-paragraph essay that we teach here, or this introduction, body, and conclusion, sometimes people even will make they might be doing an assignment and they might do a log. And if you look at a log like this, you could find an intro, a body, and a conclusion, even in such a boring thing as an analysis log. But the thing has to hang together. Okay. Not only both Harris and Belford's biographies are different, but they also, very good, not only, but also, an idiom. Anytime you write not only, you go blah, 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 comma, but also. It lends coherence. However, there is a noticeable difference between Harris, and this is great. Who taught you to write? That's great. What's your first language?
Thai.
Thai.
Yeah.
Do you write as the same way in Thai?
Totally different. The first time I
Great.
had 111 with her.
Yes.
She can tell like I wrote everything in Thai language first and then translated it to English, and she can tell it's not correct. It's not like English standard English writing. So she explained me to read more.
Right. But you must put some Thai spice in here, I assume.
Yeah, a lot of curries.
I mean, you don't lose that. On the other hand, these are so good. On the other hand, another topic sentence, aside from Wilde's own controversial trial, he was marked for controversy from the start by a different trial of sexual impropriety, Wilde's father. Now, all right. Tell me what happened here.
Okay, so...
No.
Oh.
I didn't do the here yet.
Okay.
Aside from Wilde's own controversial trial, he was marked for controversy from the start by a different trial of sexual impropriety, Wilde's father's. You heard it, right?
Mm-hmm.
How about listening to this one? Aside from Wilde's own controversial trial, he was marked for controversy from the start by a different trial of sexual impropriety, his father's. Did you hear the difference?
Mm-hmm.
You heard it. Did you hear it? What was the difference, and what difference does it make?
It sounds better.
Pardon?
It sounds better.
It sounded better?
Right.
Okay. Why?
It worded better. I don't know.
Why? You might want to look at it. And by the way, your use of the possessive is incredibly accurate. Wilde's father's, both with an apostrophe S. Okay. Here you're in the third person. Aside from Wilde's own, you're talking about Wilde's controversial trial.
Mm-hmm.
Then you skip to the personal pronoun he.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden you went back to this more objective Wilde's father. If you stuck with the personal he, his father.
His father.
That's why it sounds better. Barbara Belford explains very good use of source. Simple, clean. Barbara Belford explains, also makes your citation at the end easier. Even though Oscar Wilde had been criticized after he committed homosexual acts, he still enjoyed his extraordinary life. Wilde's imprisonment is the most tragic event in his life, according to both Harris and Belford. Wronga donga, doesn't work. Okay, don't give these according tos. The sentence is too important to cite those names there. Put a period.
Period.
Get it go, so that I have time to think about it. Wilde's imprisonment is the most tragic event in his life. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that would have been the, if you were going to argue, I didn't read the rest of the paragraph, if you're going to argue that both of these people said that it was the most tragic and you disagreed with it, then I might want to give the reference there.
Yeah.
But since it's your opinion too, beautiful. The story told is that of Oscar Wilde. aesthete. If you wrote easier words, you could say them easier. The story told is that of Oscar Wilde, aesthete and artist, writer. A true genius who was misunderstood by the people of his day.
Thanks.
You might Patrick, when they write about you, what do you want them to write?
I would like them to write about me and, like about the good in me. Not to focus a lot about bad. Because we are human beings, so we make mistakes, but we just want people to remember.
This needs one sentence and or one word. You have not called him a human being. You have not called him a man. You have called him an aesthete. You have named him an artist. You have named him a writer. You have named him a genius. You have named him understood, misunderstood.
He was misunderstood.
Okay. Okay. Good. This is great. Okay. Now, your time is up. This is how you make an appointment. If you want to make another appointment. As you know, my name is Eileen. I work on Mondays from 9 to 1. And I'd be happy to work with you again. Lovely to work with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Don't forget your paper.
Oh, okay.
Now I'm going to give you the